murders that I'm committing myself. He's holding the knife with the bloody thing. You get the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he killed.
Hearing those words now, it feels like David had been hinting at Celeste's fate the entire time. As mourners gather for her funeral, David finally breaks his silence and gives a speech no one expected. From disturbing online posts to chilling moments caught on camera, what is being revealed now is completely changing how people see this tragedy. When investigators started digging into what really happened to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose dismembered body was found in David's car, they uncovered evidence so disturbing, it shocked the entire industry. This wasn't just a random tragedy. The deeper they investigated, the more it became clear that David Anthony Burke, better known as David, had been living a dark double life far worse than anything his sad boy tracks ever expressed. The most chilling part was how David's music seemed to tell the story before it happened. He was literally rapping about his future crimes, and everyone dismissed it as just creativity. But looking back now, it's clear he was documenting his actions in real time, and no one realized it until it was too late.
On to some truly creepy developments in the mysterious case of Celeste Rivas, the teenager whose dismembered body was found in the trunk of singer David's Tesla. Back in February, David released a music video for his song One More Dance. In it, he's seen covered in blood, dragging a body across the ground. He then dumps that body in, you guessed it, the trunk of a car. In light of the circumstances, the parallel is a disturbing coincidence, raising some eyebrows.
David's February 2025 music video for One More Dance literally showed him dragging a bloody body and throwing it into a car trunk, the exact way Celeste's remains were found in the front trunk of his Tesla 7 months later. He played both the killer and the victim in his own video, which was disturbingly dark foreshadowing. But it gets even worse. During his 2025 Withered World Tour, he actually brought real caskets on stage and had fans write letters to the dead. He was performing fake funerals while Celeste was likely already gone. The timing is far too perfect to be just a coincidence. It feels like something planned and cold-blooded.
People are also finding this disturbing that he tours with a casket. He brings a casket with him on tour, which artists do some creepy, weird shit like this all the time. Like, I'm Suicide Boys fans, they do weird shit, but oh man, with the context of all this is very, very, very bad.
Back in 2022, David publicly talked about a character he created named Itami, an evil alter ego who would commit murders that David, playing a detective, would have to solve. He even said, "I'd be solving murders that I'm committing myself." Hearing that now, with everything we know, it feels completely different. That wasn't just creative storytelling. It sounds like a direct confession hidden as art.
Idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears his blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, and he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing.
The streets went wild when digital forensics uncovered some deeply incriminating evidence about what was happening behind the scenes. Screenshots allegedly showed David posting about having a baby on the way, using what investigators believe was Celeste's account. Now, many people think her pregnancy might have been the motive. She was carrying his child, and he couldn't risk that information getting out.
And in this alleged screenshot, David even claims that he and the deleted user have a kid on the way back in July of 2024, which people obviously speculate could be the very reason that she ended up losing her life.
What really shocked the community was finding out how deep this whole situation went. The Hollywood Hills house where Celeste was found during one of her runaways was leased under the name of David's manager, Josh Marshall, through Intercope Records. As soon as the feds raided the house, Marshall ended the $20,000 a month lease and vanished. That's extremely suspicious. Nobody walks away from a lease that expensive unless they have something major to hide.
So singer David is in some hot water. Previously, it was reported a dismembered body was found in the trunk of his car while he was on tour. Today, the dead body was identified as a 15-year-old who's been missing since she was 13.
The internet went absolutely crazy when this story broke. Social media turned into a battlefield, with amateur detectives from the streets to the suburbs digging up receipts, breaking down evidence, and running their own investigations. The hashtag Justice for Celeste started trending everywhere with over 2 million mentions. And people weren't just posting condolences, they were demanding justice.
They're taking their time, Ashley, which is exactly what they should be doing. And there's a lot to untangle here, and it's important to remember he's presumed innocent, right? And we know, based on past history, there are juries in LA that will entertain absolutely insane defense theories.
The reaction from David's fan base showed just how divided people really were. Some fans immediately cut ties and called for boycotts, while others went as far as blaming Celeste, saying she brought it on herself by using fake IDs. That kind of thinking is exactly why young girls from difficult backgrounds don't get the protection they deserve. Instead of holding the grown man accountable, people were finding ways to blame a child who was clearly being manipulated. Throughout the entire investigation, David stayed completely silent. His last social media post was on September 5th, 2025, just 3 days before Celeste's body was discovered. While his legal team probably told him to stay quiet, that silence only made everything seem more suspicious. The streets don't respect silence when a child is dead and you're the main suspect. Legal experts started explaining why no arrest had been made yet, and it all came down to technicalities. The cause of death was still listed as deferred because Celeste's remains were so decomposed, making it hard for prosecutors to prove exactly how she died. But everyone in the streets knew what was really going on. You don't just accidentally end up dismembered in someone's trunk.
Told that the detectives went through the house. There was with luminol, thinking that if whatever happened to Celeste, if she met her demise in the house, they wanted to see if there was any evidence of blood anywhere in the home. So they were using luminol around the house. They were checking drains to see if there's any, blood evidence or, blood or tissue that was.
The music industry's response was quick and brutal. Intercope shut down all promotion, major brands dropped him instantly, and collaborations were canceled faster than you could say lawsuit. The speed of these moves made it seem like insiders had known something was wrong long before the public found out. What really pushed people over the edge was learning that David stayed online after Celeste's body was discovered, casually playing video games like nothing had happened. Reports showed he was active on Fortnite even after the news broke, showing a disturbing level of detachment that made everyone question his mental state. The evidence painted a picture of someone who wasn't just committing crimes, but documenting them through his music, getting industry support for his twisted behavior, and keeping up an act of innocence while a child's family was grieving. This case exposed how the entertainment industry can protect predators when money is on the line, and how young girls from certain backgrounds are often denied the protection they need. These shocking revelations were only the beginning of uncovering how deep this situation really went. The digital trail showed exactly how this predator got caught slipping. When federal agents dug into David's online footprint, they uncovered a long-running operation that had been targeting a vulnerable girl since she was still a kid. The evidence showed a calculated grooming process that started when Celeste was barely out of elementary school, exposing how predators work in the digital age when they think no one is watching. The big break came on September 17, 2025, when LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division hit the Hollywood Hills mansion with a search warrant. This wasn't a routine search. They brought an entire squad, over 20 detectives and forensic specialists, and spent 6 to 8 hours tearing the place apart like they were hunting for Jimmy Hoffa.
I think it's her because she has a hoodie on and glasses almost to kind of hide her identity a little bit. That's what that looks like in my opinion. But it's just a clip of the stream and they talk about, at some point, Jeffrey Epstein gets brought up, bro, and she says something about what's controversial about R-wording Kit.
The warrant was extremely thorough, covering everything from digital devices to biological evidence. Investigators seized a full arsenal of electronics, computers, laptops, phones, hard drives, and even David's PlayStation 5, which he used for his Twitch streams, where he allegedly first contacted Celeste. They also ran luminol tests all over the house, checked the drains, and searched for any traces of blood that could show where the murder actually took place.
Very interesting, something we found out, but she had a tattoo on her right index finger that said the letters SHHH ... and that was on her right index finger. Yes, he had the same one, at least as of last September.
The digital evidence they recovered was damning as hell. Screenshots from Discord allegedly showed David talking to someone named Celeste, going back to 2022 when she was just 12 years old and he was 17. This wasn't some random encounter. This was the beginning of a long-term grooming operation that followed the classic Predator playbook. The pattern was textbook. Older guy with some clout slides into a young girl's DMs, makes her feel special and mature, then slowly escalates the relationship while isolating her from her support system. David used his growing fame and musical talent as bait, making Celeste feel like she was part of something exclusive.
They're saying that's him covering his tracks because he has a girl with him that is underage next to him. But there's more context to the clip. Here's more context to that clip.
Media trained you.
Media trained you is what he just said, because she just said something about Jeffrey Epstein.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
They mute the mic.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
One of the most incriminating pieces of evidence was the leaked track, Celeste's demo Unfin, that had been circulating since December 2023. The song had disturbingly inappropriate lyrics about someone named Celeste, with David singing, "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." The timing of this track was extremely suspicious because he recorded it when Celeste was only 13, basically documenting his obsession with a child through music. The lyrics talked about physical intimacy and possession in ways that would clearly be illegal if aimed at a minor, which they were. What made the situation even worse was how organized the cover-up seemed to be. TMZ reported that Celeste had several fake IDs that made her look like a 19-year-old college student, allowing her to enter age-restricted venues and travel with David without suspicion. This wasn't just a teenager sneaking into parties, it was a planned deception to make an illegal relationship look normal. The scheme ran deep, with Celeste having driver's licenses, student IDs, and everything needed to move through adult spaces without anyone questioning why a grown man was with someone who looked so young. David's crew reportedly believed she was legal because her documents made it look that way. Even more concerning was evidence suggesting David was paying people to stay quiet about what was really happening. Photos surfaced showing him in Lake Elsinore near Celeste's house handing out cash to local kids. And while it can't be proven what those payments were for, the timing and location made it seem like he was buying silence about Celeste's age and whereabouts. Another photo making the rounds shows him allegedly paying off people to keep quiet, though there's no hard proof and it could just be him meeting a fan. Investigators put together a timeline showing how the relationship escalated over time. It started in early 2022, when Celeste was only 11 or 12 and David was 16 or 17, through Twitch and Discord where he was building his online following. By 2023, he was writing obsessive songs about her, and by September 2024 they had matching tattoos. Celeste's tattoo on her right index finger reg, and David had the same one as of last September. These tattoos were significant because Celeste was only 14 when she got hers, and under California law, minors need parental consent for tattoos. The fact that she got one without her family knowing showed a level of secrecy and emotional control that predators often use to tie victims to them. Investigators also discovered that Celeste's runaway pattern wasn't random but directly connected to her relationship with David. Her first disappearance in February 2024 led police straight to the Hollywood Hills house, where David was staying. But instead of recognizing it as a clear sign of grooming, authorities simply brought her home and dismissed it as another runaway case. Neighbors from that property gave crucial testimony, describing how they saw David and Celeste spending time together regularly, acting like a couple, and assuming she was 18 or 19 based on how she behaved. They recalled seeing them doing normal couple activities like holding hands and loading groceries, which made the relationship look normal and showed how convincing the deception really was. One of the most troubling pieces of evidence was a February 2024 Twitch stream that was quickly deleted but saved by viewers. In the clip, a female voice believed to be Celeste could be heard making disturbing comments about inappropriate topics, and David immediately told his moderators to delete everything. Many believe this was him trying to cover his tracks because an underage girl was with him on stream. The clip became even more concerning when viewers heard him say, "Media trained you," after she mentioned Jeffrey Epstein, a topic that becomes explosive when kids are involved. And then they muted the mic and quickly ended the stream with David saying, "Bye guys. Delete everything. Everything goes." That level of control and secrecy showed how planned the entire operation was and proved David wasn't just some random predator. He had a calculated system for targeting vulnerable young people using his sad boy image as bait. David's entire music and online persona were designed to attract kids who felt lonely and misunderstood, creating a steady stream of vulnerable fans looking for connection and validation. But nothing could prepare anyone for what happened next. On September 8, 2025, what started as a regular Monday morning at a Hollywood tow yard turned into one of the most shocking discoveries the music industry and the internet had ever seen. Workers at Hollywood Tow were just doing their job when they stumbled across something that revealed a tragedy that had been building for over a year. The car in question was a black 2023 Tesla Model X with Texas plates, registered to 20-year-old R&B artist David Anthony Burke, better known as David, who had risen to fame when his track Romantic Homicide went viral on TikTok and passed 1 billion streams on Spotify. He had gone from making beats in his Houston bedroom to selling out shows across the country. But inside the front trunk where an engine would normally be, workers made a horrifying discovery: the severely decomposed and dismembered remains of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Her body was wrapped in plastic, and investigators later said that her remains had been cut apart in what looked like a deliberate attempt to hide evidence. Neighbors even recalled smelling something strange in the area for weeks, describing it as a constant, rotting odor they thought came from rats or trash. The timing made everything even darker. Celeste had just turned 15 the day before, on September 7, 2025. While some speculated about the timing, forensic analysis suggested she had likely been dead for months, probably during the hot California summer. With the heat inside the sealed Tesla speeding up decomposition, investigators confirmed her identity through dental records and a small red tattoo on her right index finger, a tattoo that matched one David had in black ink on his own finger. That matching tattoo became one of the key pieces linking Celeste to him. When the news broke, the contrast between David's emotional music and the brutal reality of this discovery left people stunned. At the time, David was on tour performing in Minneapolis, and although his team released a statement saying he was cooperating with authorities, David himself stayed completely silent. No posts, no interviews, nothing. Celeste